The United States of America. 50 states, 9.8 million square kilometers, more geographical diversity than most continents. Mountains that pierce the clouds at over 20,000 feet. Deserts where the ground temperature hits 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Canyons carved over 6 million years. Geysers erupting on schedule every 90 minutes like geological clockwork. But most people visit the same 5 cities, take the same photos, and go home thinking they've seen America. They haven't. Today, we're covering the 10 places in the USA that will actually change how you see this country. Not the tourist traps, not the filtered Instagram versions, the real thing, with the numbers, the geology, and the history that most guides leave out. Starting with number 10. Ending with the place that 6 million visitors every year describe the same way. Nothing could have prepared me for this. Let's go.
Grand Canyon, Arizona. Every year, almost 6 million people walk to the rim of the Grand Canyon, and almost every single one of them says the same thing. Nothing could have prepared me for this. Not the photographs, not the documentaries, not any description ever written. The Grand Canyon defeats human language. The canyon is 277 miles long, up to 18 miles wide, over a mile deep, 6,093 feet at its lowest point. The Colorado River carved it over 5 to 6 million years. The rock at the very bottom of the canyon, the Vishnu basement rocks, is 1.8 billion years old. That is nearly half the age of the Earth itself, visible from the rim. Walking down into the canyon is walking backwards through geological time. Each rock layer is a chapter. Kaibab limestone at the rim formed 270 million years ago. Below it, Toroweap Formation, Coconino Sandstone, Hermit Shale, Supai Group. Each layer represents an era before the one above. The canyon exposes nearly 2 billion years of Earth's geological history in a single vertical mile.
The South Rim is open year-round and receives the majority of visitors. The North Rim is just 10 miles away as the crow flies, and 215 miles by road. It receives about 10% of total visitors. The rim-to-rim trail is 21 to 24 miles, dropping and climbing over a mile of vertical elevation each way. The park strongly advises against attempting it in one day. People do it anyway, and every year people die from heat exhaustion, dehydration, and falls. The canyon is indifferent. It operates on geological time. You are a temporary visitor, small and entirely dependent on how much water you carry. Come at sunrise. Watch the walls shift from gray to purple to orange to gold as the light moves. There is nowhere else on Earth where you can stand at a rim and look across 10 miles of open space to another rim, with a mile of geological history between you and the river below. Nothing else like it on the entire planet.
Yellowstone, Wyoming. Yellowstone was established in 1872 as the world's first national park. Not just the first in America, the first anywhere on Earth. Before Yellowstone, no government had ever formally set aside land for public preservation and enjoyment. Yellowstone invented the concept that every national park on Earth now follows. And the reason it was protected is still there, because what's inside Yellowstone's borders is unlike anything else on the continent. The park sits directly above a supervolcanic hotspot. The Yellowstone caldera, formed by the most recent major eruption 640,000 years ago, is 34 miles wide and 45 miles long. That is the size of the crater, not the damage radius, the actual hole. Inside that caldera and throughout the park, there are more than 10,000 geothermal features. Geysers, hot springs, mud pots, fumaroles. That is more geothermal features than exist in the rest of the world combined.
Old Faithful erupts approximately every 91 minutes, every day, shooting 3,700 to 8,400 gallons of boiling water 180 feet into the air. It has erupted on schedule since at least 1870, when the first documented expedition observed it. The Grand Prismatic Spring is 370 feet across and 160 feet deep, the largest hot spring in the United States and third largest in the world. The rainbow of colors, from deep blue at center to orange and red at the edges, is created by different species of heat-adapted bacteria living at each temperature zone. Yellowstone also hosts the largest concentration of free-roaming megafauna in the continental United States. 800 grizzly bears, 700 wolves, reintroduced in 1995 after being hunted to extinction here, 5,000 bison, 30,000 elk, and 3 to 9 miles beneath all of it, a magma chamber the size of Rhode Island is slowly, silently breathing. Hawaii, the Pacific Ocean. Hawaii is the most geographically isolated island chain on the surface of the Earth. The nearest landmass, the continental United States, is 2,400 miles east. The nearest island group, the Marquesas in French Polynesia, is 2,100 miles south. Hawaii sits alone at the center of the largest ocean on the planet, further from any continent than any other island group in the world. And it is still growing right now. The Big Island of Hawaii, the youngest and largest island, sits directly above a volcanic hotspot. Kilauea has been continuously erupting since 1983. In 2018, a major eruption destroyed 700 homes, created a new coastline, and added 875 acres of new land to the island in a matter of months. The entire chain was formed by the same hotspot. As the Pacific tectonic plate moves northwest at about 3 inches per year, new islands form above the hotspot, and older ones get carried away. Right now, 3,000 feet below the ocean's surface, southeast of the Big Island, a new island called Loihi is already forming. In somewhere between 10,000 and 100,000 years, Hawaii will have a new island. The geology is not finished here. Each island in the chain is completely different from the others. Kauai has the Nepali coast, 17 miles of 4,000-foot sea cliffs accessible only by boat or helicopter. Maui has the Hana Highway, 64 miles, 620 curves, 59 bridges. Oahu's North Shore sees winter surf reaching 30 feet at Pipeline. And somehow, people fly 10 hours and spend the week at the hotel pool. Get out of the resort. The actual Hawaii is extraordinary. Monument Valley, Arizona and Utah. You have already seen Monument Valley. Even if you've never been there, you've seen it. It is the visual shorthand for the American West. The red sandstone buttes rising from the desert floor have appeared in more films, advertisements, and photographs than almost any landscape on Earth. John Ford filmed Stagecoach here in 1939. Then The Searchers, Fort Apache, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon. After that, Forrest Gump running across the desert, the opening of Easy Rider, commercials, magazine covers, travel posters. The image existed so powerfully in the public imagination that the actual valley became almost secondary to its own mythology. The sandstone formations, the West and East Mittens, Merrick Butte, the Three Sisters, are 270 million years old. They were once part of a vast sedimentary plateau. Millions of years of erosion stripped away the softer surrounding rock, leaving only the hardest formation standing. Monument Valley sits entirely within the Navajo Nation, the largest federally recognized indigenous nation in the United States. The Navajo have called this landscape home for centuries. The park is managed by the Navajo Nation, not the federal government. When you visit, you are a guest on Navajo land. Sunrise and sunset here shift the sandstone through red, orange, purple, and deep gold as the light changes across the 5,500-foot valley floor. The buttes rise another 1,000 feet above. Hire a Navajo guide. They take you to parts of the valley that no tourist map includes and tell you the stories behind what you're seeing.
Yosemite National Park, California. El Capitan. 3,000 feet of sheer granite rising straight from the valley floor. Not 3,000 feet of mountain, not 3,000 feet of slope. 3,000 feet of near vertical rock face, the largest exposed granite monolith on Earth. Free solo climbers have scaled it without ropes in under 4 hours. In 2017, Alex Honnold climbed it completely alone, no ropes, no protection, in 3 hours and 56 minutes. That is one of the most extraordinary athletic achievements in human history. The Yosemite Valley's reaction was absolute silence when he topped out. Nobody knew what to say. But Yosemite is far more than El Capitan. Half Dome, the quarter sphere of granite that defines Yosemite's skyline, rises to 8,800 feet with a sheer 2,000-foot face on its north side. The summit cable route is so exposed and weather sensitive that permits are required, and rangers actively discourage attempts on any day with clouds. Yosemite Falls drops 2,425 feet in 3 separate tiers, one of the tallest waterfalls in North America. The valley it fills is 7 miles long and just 1 mile wide, enclosed on all sides by walls of granite, with the Merced River threading through its center. John Muir called it by far the grandest of all the special temples of nature I was ever permitted to enter. He was not exaggerating. 4 million people visit Yosemite each year, but they almost all go to the valley. The valley is 7 square miles. The park is 1,169 square miles. The wilderness beyond the valley is largely untouched and largely unknown. Zion National Park, Utah. Every other major canyon park in the American Southwest, Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, the Colorado River Canyons, you stand at the rim and look down. The view is below you. Zion inverts that entirely. You walk on the canyon floor and you look up. Zion Canyon is 15 miles long and up to half a mile deep, carved by the Virgin River into Navajo sandstone over millions of years. The walls rise 2,000 feet above you in shades of white, pink, orange, and deep red that shift color as the sun moves across the narrow strip of sky above. The Narrows, the most famous hike in the park, takes you directly into the river. You wade through water ranging from ankle to chest deep for miles, between walls that narrow to just 20 feet apart, 1,000 feet tall. There is no trail. The river is the trail. Then there's Angel's Landing, a 1,488-foot sandstone monolith with a 5-mile trail that ends in a half-mile scramble up sheer rock using chains bolted directly into the cliff. The final exposed ridge has drop-offs on both sides, in places 1,200 feet straight down to the canyon floor. The park now requires a lottery permit to hike Angel's Landing. Not because it's too difficult, because too many people were attempting it without the right preparation, and the permits didn't stop them. Zion draws 4.5 million visitors annually, an extraordinary number for a park with limited vehicle access and trails that actively demand physical effort. Arrive early, hike hard, look up. That's the Zion formula. Denali, Alaska. For over a century, They called it Mount McKinley. In 2015, the federal government restored its indigenous name, Denali. In the Athabascan language of the people who have lived at its base for thousands of years, it means the Great One. At 20,310 feet, 6,190 meters, Denali is the highest peak in North America, by over 2,000 feet above the next tallest mountain on the continent. But absolute elevation alone doesn't capture what makes Denali extraordinary. Mount Everest is taller by elevation above sea level, but Everest rises approximately 12,000 feet from the Tibetan Plateau. Denali rises 18,000 feet from its surrounding base. Measured by vertical rise from base to summit, Denali is the tallest mountain on Earth. The national park surrounding the mountain covers 6 million acres, larger than the entire state of Vermont, and has exactly one paved road, 92 miles, one road. That's the entire infrastructure. Inside that wilderness, 39 mammal species, grizzly bears, wolves, moose, Dall sheep, golden eagles, Arctic ground squirrels so prolific they've been called the pizza of the Alaskan food chain. Only about 400,000 people visit per year, compared to 4 million at Yellowstone. The infrastructure is intentionally minimal. The wilderness is intentionally preserved. On clear days, which are rare because Denali generates its own weather systems, the summit is visible from 200 miles away. Most visitors never see the peak clearly. That's part of what makes it Denali. It reveals itself on its own terms.
Death Valley, California, July 10th, 1913. A weather station in Death Valley recorded a temperature of 134 degrees Fahrenheit, 56.7 degrees Celsius, the highest reliably recorded air temperature on the surface of the Earth. Not just in California, not just in America, on Earth. And yet, Death Valley is one of the most visited national parks in the American West, because it's not a wasteland. It's a geological masterpiece. Badwater Basin, the valley floor, sits 282 feet, or 86 meters, below sea level, the lowest point in North America. Within the park boundaries, the elevation change spans from minus 282 feet to 11,049 feet at Telescope Peak. That's over 2 miles of vertical range within a single national park.
The salt flats at Badwater cover 200 square miles, a perfectly flat expanse of crystallized sodium chloride that turns blinding white in midday sun and honey gold at sunrise. Zabriskie Point overlooks badlands carved from ancient lakebed deposits, 200 feet deep. Artist's Palette is a hillside painted in 13 different colors: purple, green, pink, yellow, each created by a different mineral oxidizing differently in the desert air. Between November and March, Death Valley is genuinely comfortable. Daytime temperatures in the 60s and 70s Fahrenheit, clear skies, almost no crowds. Between June and September, the park becomes the hottest place on Earth. The park rangers have a saying: hiking in Death Valley in July is a personal choice that we respect but cannot endorse. Come in winter, come at dawn. Death Valley rewards the prepared and punishes everyone else without exception.
Las Vegas, Nevada. There is a city in the middle of the Mojave Desert, one of the driest, most hostile environments in North America, that somehow attracts 42 million visitors every year. 42 million people! That's more than the entire population of California, showing up annually to a city of just 650,000 residents. Welcome to Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Strip, 4.2 miles of South Las Vegas Boulevard, generates approximately $7 billion per year in gaming revenue alone, before restaurants, shows, hotels, or shopping. just gambling. But Las Vegas is far more than casinos. The Strip features a full-scale replica of the Eiffel Tower, an Egyptian pyramid with a light beam visible from space, a Venetian canal system, and the High Roller Observation Wheel, the tallest in the world at 550 feet, all within comfortable walking distance of each other. The Bellagio fountains cover 8.5 acres of water choreographed to music. They fire 460 feet into the air, multiple times per hour, for free. The dining scene alone, with more Michelin-starred restaurants concentrated in a smaller area than almost anywhere outside New York, could justify a week-long visit. And just 30 minutes outside the Strip, the Mojave Desert stretches silent and enormous in every direction. Joshua trees, red rock formations, absolute silence. A glittering monument to human ambition, surrounded by absolute wilderness. Las Vegas is impossible to take seriously. Impossible to ignore.
New Orleans, Louisiana. Every city in America has a personality. New Orleans has a soul. This is the only city in the United States that operated under French civil law until 1812, and you can still feel that European DNA in every cobbled street, every wrought iron balcony, every beignet at Café du Monde at 2 in the morning. Founded by the French in 1718, New Orleans sits at the mouth of the Mississippi River. The historic French Quarter, the Vieux Carré, is the oldest urban neighborhood in the country. It looks exactly like it sounds. Narrow streets, pastel-colored buildings, and live musicians on every corner. The food alone is worth the flight. Gumbo, jambalaya, crawfish étouffée. This is where Creole cuisine was born, a fusion of French, Spanish, African, and Native American cooking traditions layered over 300 years of history. Then there's Mardi Gras, 2 weeks of parades, jazz, and celebration that draws over 1 million visitors to a city of just 380,000 people. The math doesn't work. The party absolutely does. And underneath all that energy is a city that survived Hurricane Katrina in 2005, one of the most devastating natural disasters in American history. 80% of the city flooded. Over 1,800 people died. New Orleans didn't just recover, it came back louder than before. That's New Orleans. Impossible to explain. Impossible to forget.
10 places, 1 country, and we haven't even touched the cities. New York, Chicago, San Francisco. New Orleans is on this list, but the rest of them have stories that need their own video. If this gave you one destination to add to your bucket list, drop it in the comments. We read every single one. Subscribe to Factopia if you haven't already. We cover the places, the facts, and the stories that most channels never get to. Next video is already in production. Different topic, bigger scale. See you there!